Today on FCT Environment Update, we look at the need for a sustained revenue drive for a better environment in the FCT. Remediation of the lead-poisoned Bagega in Zamfara State has finally begun following several attempts after the death of over 400 children in 2010. A statement issued by a non-profit group that has been advocating for the release of funds to remediate Bagega since October 2012 enjoins all stakeholders to keep up with the momentum at which remediation has started in order to avoid any delay. The federal government approved the release of about 850 million naira from the ecological funds to be distributed amongst the Ministries of Environment, Ministry of Health, and Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, mainly for the remediation of communities affected by lead poisoning in Zamfara State. A legislator in Imo State House of Assembly, Isma'ila, has condemned the present poor state of the environment in Owerri and other parts of the state. The lawmaker attributed the cause of the decay to the scrapping of the monthly cleanup exercise by the present administration. He said the state cannot be regarded as the cleanest in the country as it used to be because of its present condition. He called on Governor Rocha Sokorocha to hasten up and reintroduce the regular monthly cleanup exercise in the state to ensure that the issue was addressed.
Abuja is a beautiful city and the preferred tourist destination in Africa. Let us keep our environment clean by trimming flowers and cutting grass around us regularly. Dispose of our refuse in waste bins and stop all forms of environmental pollution because they are injurious to our health. Report bleeding manhole to the appropriate authorities and disease from illegal connection to sewage lines. Hawking, trading, and begging on the streets of Abuja are prohibited. So also is prostitution. Do not harass AEPB staff members in the line of duty. If you are caught, you will face the law. If we cultivate a culture of a clean environment and pay our environmental service charge promptly, Abuja will remain the pride of all Nigerians.
This message is proudly sponsored by the FCT United Nations Development Assistance Framework UNDAF 2. The Abuja Environmental Protection Board is a regulatory body statutorily charged with the responsibility of protecting and managing the FCT environment. Although the agency got its powers from the AEPB Act No. 10 of 1997, it cannot operate effectively if users of its services do not make mandatory payments for wastes generated and others.
Revenue accruing to the board principally are sourced from about 12 areas. We have one, waste management. Waste management is subdivided into two, that's solid waste and liquid waste. Then we have what we call the task force. We equally have vegetation control, we have fumigation, we have environmental impact assessment. There are a host of others. However, these five I mentioned now are the most active.
Every department has to generate revenue. It should not be only on waste collection charges. They should also use the initiative and also find ways we can get people to pay for what the environment is losing. Let me give you another small example. Look at block making industries. They destroy the system. It's corrosive. If you want to plant somewhere, you have to treat that soil again before it grows. For goodness sake, you're damaging the environment. You should be able to pay. Even the peasants living in local settlements, they pay for Babambola to pack their waste. Let alone somebody who's educated and understands the implication of allowing waste to dump. So I think it's a lucrative business, and I know definitely with time we'll come to face realities and people will pay for the services. Nobody wants to live in a slum. So I think we'll get there.
Recently, the Abuja Environmental Protection Board discovered that it was underbilling users of its services, especially hotels. This gave rise to the need for an appropriate billing initiative to be undertaken. Now, an appropriate billing has been featured in the FCT Gazette, making it a valid government document and binding on members of the public.
Formally, we have been underbilling people. For example, let's take the hotels. In an hotel, our basis for billing hotels is on the number of rooms only. But if you go into our gazette, you see there are other billing rates that are appropriated to them. For example, an hotel that has rooms, restaurants, swimming pool, nightclubs, and so on. And there are some of these hotels that only run rooms only. And all this while, we have been billing the hotels based on rooms. So some of these hotels have been coming forward that what is the rationale behind my hotel having 10 rooms and only 10 rooms. And there's another hotel having 10 rooms, nightclub, restaurants, and co. And in our tariff, we have rates for restaurants, we have rates for nightclubs, and so on and so forth. So we have now woken up from our slumber and now decide to bill everybody according to what you have in your business premises. So like an hotel that maintains a nightclub, restaurant, they should have a higher bill than an hotel that only maintains just room services. So we are trying to let the public know that it is not an increase per se, but is a matter of appropriate billing.
We are not increasing, but we are charging on the basis of polluter pay principle. If you have a nightclub, they pollute. It is not the guest in the room. If you have a banquet facilities, you invite a lot of people, they pollute. You're not talking of the people in the rooms. It's not possible. And there are so many other facilities like that. There are restaurants, some have multiple restaurants, 2, 3, 4 restaurants. What waste do the rooms generate compared to these facilities? So these are some of the problems we have to look at. I'm very particular about the hotel because it's outrageous for someone to tell me a 5-star hotel is paying 4 million a year. You know how much it costs to pay workers, to buy these trucks in billions, to fuel them, to maintain them? But no. Come on, let's tell each other the truth. It's no longer going to be like that. I mean, if we want, let's go to court of public opinion. Even if a poor man goes to buy beer in one of these hotels, they have to pay the same amount that the president will pay. Nobody's going to say because you are poor, we're going to subsidize. It's not possible. So let's be fair. And in any case, you have to charge those that are rich to service the poor. It's a normal thing in life. You don't expect me to charge probably somebody living in a Garaki village, a peasant who has nothing, the same amount that I'm going to charge maybe a 5-star hotel. It's not possible. So also this principle trickles to all other facilities. Look at the parks and gardens. What do they pay? Virtually zero. Some of them make even more money than hotels. They have more patronage. On a good day, they make huge sums of money. What do they pay? At least somebody who has a hotel pays ground rent, huge ground rent. He pays for the sea of wool. He pays for so many other facilities. And yet, a neighbor who is selling beer, a neighboring garden selling beer, makes more market than the hotel in terms of beverage sales. Except when these hotels are experiencing a special event in Abuja. So what are we talking? It does not make sense. It's high time we start telling each other the truth.
The services of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board are such that it cannot be discontinued to punish a violator. This is because if AEPB refuses to evacuate waste from an individual or property due to non-payment, the environmental consequences affects other residents who might be environmentally compliant. This calls for strict compliance monitoring by the AEPB, and according to the act establishing it, the AEPB can prosecute polluters of the environment even for non-payment of due charges.
People tend to believe that waste evacuation is supposed to be the full responsibility of government. And by the time we serve them this bill, they feel aggrieved that why are we giving them that bill? Some of them even throw the bills away. Some of them reject the bill. Some will even collect and don't even dump it somewhere and not care about payment. So we need actually to sensitize people, the resident, why they have to pay this bill. And the earlier, the better. And it's unfortunate on the board's part, because we cannot stop services because you did not pay your bill. If we don't service you, your refuse will be a nuisance, not only to you, but to you and the entire environment. So we just have to service people. We just have to evacuate waste.
We are appealing to residents of the FCT to please ensure that when these bills are given to them, that they endeavor to settle as fast as possible, because government is hugely dependent on these resources to deliver these services. As a matter of fact, it's just a token fee that is being charged to ensure that this waste is evacuated. And you know that you cannot possibly stay in your houses with waste. They constitute health hazards to you. So we are appealing to our residents to please cooperate with us so that the targeted revenue can be achieved. And it is only when we have those resources at our end that we can possibly deliver the service efficiently. And I believe that you all want to have a healthy environment. So please, we look forward to you settling your bills promptly. Promptly is the word.
Waste evacuation is inclusive of both the liquid and the solid waste. If you don't pay any of them, it's a criminal offense, because by extension, we will not be able to render you qualitative service. And where you have waste and it accumulates, it comes with environmental hazard, it comes with health hazard, and you also your neighbors to be infected. If it is not only your own household, assuming we say we cannot even evacuate yours, but the people that promulgated the law, when they looked at it, they decided, okay, evacuate every waste, prosecute whoever did not pay his waste. The court will compel him to pay and then fine him. If he is a repeat offender, the court can give further consequential order like sealing of the house or any other penalty the court deemed appropriate, including imprisonment. So that is for that side. For the waste management correction, liquid waste connection, you have to pay in advance to be connected to the central sewer system.
This is the right time for us to actually charge appropriate, because we are straining our resources, both manpower and equipment, and yet we try to deliver the services. This is a city that has peculiar problems. Areas that are supposed to be resettled, they are still within the city. We cannot charge the individuals of those locations because they are not planned for. They are simply there. It's as an organic settlement. We have Utako, you have Garki, you have Mabushi, and so many other settlements. Gishiri, all these places, they generate waste. And we are compelled to always make sure we collect it. Ours is not the time that maybe you can cut your services because of the health implication. We have to keep serving people. Because obviously, if today you don't collect this waste, it becomes a problem. The person it may affect may be at another location. So definitely we have to address it totally. And in that regards, we must collect payments due to the board. And what I mean is appropriate payments. I'll give you a typical example. Say in a typical hotel in Abuja. It's awkward that a hotel, a 5-star hotel, should be paying as small as 4 million a year. It's ridiculous. It's never done anywhere. Computed in terms of dollars. Compare with other sister hotels in the world, there are chains in the world. You find out that they are paying virtually little or nothing, which is most unfair to the city managers. In this case, you have to look at it this way. I asked, on what basis do you charge these hotels? They say it's number of rooms. Oh, number of rooms. That means number of rooms that people, guests come to stay in. What about the other facilities? Banquet facilities. They charge for it. What about the nightclubs? They charge for it. You generate liquid waste from these nightclubs, and it's on a daily basis. So what is coming to FCT? Some of them are computed, they pay as ridiculously low as maybe 60 naira, 600 naira a day, which is not acceptable. Let's be more realistic and charge as appropriate. At the same time, some of these hotels, they even rent out their apartments to people. They have offices, they don't pay peanuts, they pay huge amounts to remain there. And they collect charges. I was in one of these estates recently, even one of these estates, they charge money for these services and they pay little to the FCT. I think that time is over.
Up next, we see how AEPB serves bills and why the agency is making sure every polluter of the FCT environment pays for such damages.
This Abuja fine no be small. Now you make plenty tourists them they like to visit this our city. Because of that, we must to make sure say everywhere they clean every time. Make we dey cut grass and flower them we don't grow for our house. Throw away dirty and yama inside dustbin. No spoil air with black smoke. That one fit cause sickness for body. If you see sock away we don't full, make you call Abuja Environmental Protection Board. Quick. No follow them fight oh. Now they work then they do. Now on face to sell market for road, they beg or even do opio for night. If they catch you, you go hear am. Make we join hand together with Abuja Environmental Protection Board to see say Abuja dey clean well. Make we pay our service charge every month to make sure say Abuja dey cha-cha.
Now the FCT United Nations Development Assistance Framework, UNDAF 2, they bring on this message.
I ask that you partner with us and then to help us to ensure sustainability of the FCT environment by complying with our laws and regulations. AEPB, Environmental Protection Board, is not out on punitive measures. We are out to actually ensure your safety and also to ensure that you have a very good environment to live in case you have pollution. If you are doing all this, it will affect your health. It's a gradual thing. It's not a one-day thing. So if we are trying to tell that this is how it is going to be supposed to be done, please, we ask that you cooperate with us and then ensure the stepping down and then acceptance of some of this, not even some of this, but all our rules, because they are there to benefit you. And for issues of degradation, it will end up at the end of the day to affect you individually. If there's issues that actually like bush burning, like indiscriminate disposal into the natural waters, because at the end of the day, when the aquatic environment is being polluted, somebody somewhere at the end of the stream is being a user. Climate change is a reality. Environmental degradation, pollution, and indiscriminate abuse, and whatever are part of the things that are not environmental friendly. Please desist from it and then let us work together. If there's any complaint, let us know. We on friendly basis and then get into that issue and get it sorted out. Thank you.
Most payments due to the Abuja Environmental Protection Board are to be paid annually and in advance. This implies that environmental charges are expected to be paid for before the service is rendered. However, some Abuja residents have devised clever means of avoiding compliance, and so the AEPB follows a strict process of serving bills appropriately and proceeds to prosecute anyone who fails to comply.
By the time we get to your house, this first, second, or third time, and nobody to collect the bill, we have in our law that we can paste the bill either on the door, in a conspicuous place where the resident can come back and see it and pick it up. And when such thing is done, we have a clause in the Act which says that AEPB Act Section 37 complied with. So which means wherever you see Section 37, AEPB Act Section 37 is complied with, it means that that bill, we have gotten to that resident for about 2 or 3 times and nobody is around to collect that bill. So we now paste the bill so that whenever they come, they can access such bill. And when we have our bills, when we go into the field, we serve a bill where we meet anybody in the house or in the office. There is a flimsy we bring back. The person who is actually collecting the bill is not at gunpoint to pay that bill, but just to tell us that that bill was delivered. You just put your name as the receiver of the bill, sign and date. Of course, that we bring back. It also helps us to determine, because there's a clause on the bill that gives you to pay within 21 days. After 21 days, if you don't pay that bill, we can now take you to court. We can serve you court summons. So we should be aware, or the residents should be aware, that on the receipt of Abuja Environmental's bill, they have 21 days grace to pay, of which, if they don't, we can take them to court.
The services we render them at a cost. Even if government will subsidize, the beneficiary of the service, who are the residents of FCT and people doing business within FCT, are supposed to pay in a percentage of it, if not all of it. Universally, there is nothing free. And people don't pay their bills, unfortunately. Every year, if we did not enforce payment by taking people to court, we end up with 90% of the residents of the city or 95% of the residents of the city not paying their bills. Last year, we had the same problem. We had to now move and mobilize the courts, prosecute before we got people to start paying. And obviously, it is a vicious cycle that we are living with. We are hoping that the residents of the city will start appreciating the quality of service we are giving them by paying their bills, so that we will waste less time in prosecuting them and spend more time in giving better and qualitative service.
Violators of the environment are required to make stipulated payments to the AEPB as remediation of the cost of restoring the damage to the environment. The FCT administration has given consent to this principle by establishing the Environmental Remediation Fund, where collections from polluters will be pooled for the purpose of repairing the damage and restore the environment for a sustainable environmental protection in the FCT.
The environment does not talk. It is a department like this and other sister departments all over the world that talk for the environment. So it's a global issue. So we must strive, and all of us must be responsive to maintaining this environment. It's not my own issue. It's not the minister's issue. It's not the permanent secretary's issue. It's all of us. So whatever affects the environment affects everybody. Whatever affects Nigeria here affects Ghana. It affects the next country. It affects Europe. Why are we talking about global warming? So if you remove any tree here, you should be able to pay back. Even if you don't plant, you should be able to pay something to remediate that environment. And that is why the department, tried as much as possible and to initiate a policy that will bring about environmental remediation fund, a special fund to be dedicated specially for the environment. And I'm happy to say that the FCT administration gladly endorsed that something, but we'll try to work and get the appropriate legislative and executive support before it's finally implemented. But definitely nowhere in the world, no responsible nation will not recognize the need for all of us to jointly put in something, no matter how little, to protect the environment for the future. So it is an area we're also going to focus on a lot, apart from just minor service charges. Of course, if you deplete the environment in any form, you should pay.
All residents of the FCT have a responsibility to protect their immediate environment. Unfortunately, some residents resort to violence or are unnecessarily hard on AEPB enforcement officers. These acts have been criminalized and violators are currently being prosecuted.
Where we need to pay, you need to pay your waste collection services as at when due. Go ahead and do that. Do not wait for somebody to cajole you, to push you, to a mobile court before you do, the needful. Having said that, I also want to, talk to the FCT residents not to, fight government. When you fight the staff of AEPB in the course of their, statutory responsibilities, you're fighting the government, and that is like counterproductive. These people are out there, to help you, live right, help you prolong life indirectly by ensuring that your neighborhood is clean, that your immediate environment, is clean. So the best you can do is to support them, is to encourage them.
To whom much is given, much is expected. I mean, people have a right to complain to us anytime they don't enjoy the services. They have full right. They can reach out and call us. I will advise as much as possible, people they have direct access to us. If they cannot get us, they can reach me directly on my table or the information outreach program. We also have a Servicom unit. The details will be provided for you. They can reach out to them. I'm sure we'll address it.
Join us next week for house-to-house inspection with environmental health officers of the AEPB.